Bonjour to Bonjour mes amis Gravitron. Je suis more gravity. Allons-y, je échec. Aujourd'hui, j'essaie de parler français quand je expliquer cet jeu. Alors, s'il vous plaît, euh, être euh, bien pour moi. Oui, je voudrais euh, un peu de kindness. Comment dit-on kindness en français? Je ne sais pas. Peut-être quelque chose. Euh, et cela. Non, je, ça n'est pas vrai. Ce n'est pas vrai. Euh, hier, une chose de ici, on peut voir cette match, cette jeu d'échecs euh, être bien. This is a bit. I'm testing this out. I realize now that maybe speaking about chess and French is a little bit over my head. So, anyway, it was fun while it lasted. Look, this is a strong game. Very accurate by black, that's me. Accurate enough by white, and with a reasonably, if I'm understanding this correctly, a reasonably late break, as late as the mid teens. So, that's also interesting to me. Um, just a well fought, strong game, and Black was able to wear White down, and then uh, White resigned in the face of um, overwhelming material deficit. So, let's review. And we have just a very age-old opening here, and the Queen's Gambit declined. I play Bishop G4. Sometimes just to dish. Not sorry. Not. I am sorry. Excuse me. Sorry. Sometimes just to ditch the bishop for the knight. Maybe I even get doubled pawns on white's king side for it. And why would I want to do that? Well, the doubled pawns aren't good. They're not horrible, but they're not good either. And this bishop on c8 historically has a lot of difficulty being active in a Queen's Gambit type game. Now, I know we didn't really play the Queen's Gambit because I traded my c pawn off early. I'm aware of that. I could play uh, bishop to d7, and perhaps that's the better move. Let's consult with Torch 4. I played bishop g4 and was assessed that that was a good move. Not a great move, a good move. It's white's turn, so let's make it black's turn for start. Uh, yeah, no, people make mistakes. It's bishop at c8 and bishop to g4 does not enter Torch's top 5 considerations here. And knight c6, a natural developing move. e6 closes the bishop in. I don't like that's a6. e6 closes the bishop in. I would normally prefer to go down that road unless I really had to. And then bishop d7. Like I had said, that bishop d7 might be a better move than um, bishop g4. I'll show the move like this and a possibility like that. I at least give my future self, if I'm reviewing this, this at least tells me which square the next piece is going to move to. And hopefully I'll be able to sort it out against the fact that there are 5 pieces that can move to d7 on this move. Anyway, bishop to g4. The reason I like it, especially in a semi-Slav or a Queen's Gambit declined, in a semi-Slav or a Queen's Gambit declined, is it gets the bishop out. You can ditch that bishop and not have to worry about pretty severe light square bad bishop issues for black. Pawn to e3 is good. So from white's point of view, that's a fine move to prevent a capture on f3 from doubling white's pawns. Now, a capture on f3 is probably not great for black to initiate because this queen's over here on d1. I mean 8. Oh, d1 again. But if she were to recapture with hate, where's the fun in that? Where's the fun in that? Sorry, my rhyme broke down a little bit towards the end there. Knight c6. Normal developing moves. It's a very even position. Black wants a solid pawn chain stemming from the king side towards the center. Also making room for the dark squared bishop to move to a number of squares, all of which look pretty darn good. Bishop e7 protects against a lot of different ideas. In some systems, it doesn't really play into this particular position, so let's even take that off. But bishop d6 is very strong against an aggressive knight, for instance. And bishop b4 will have the knight pinned to the king. I think my opponent's about to castle, so maybe not, but it's still an option. It's still a great move on the queen side there for black's dark squared bishop. So castling protects white's king very well. At a6, this is again merci Dominique, thank you Jay Wild, thank you Jordan, thank you More Gravity. With a6, this is not the type of move I would have even thought of 6 years ago, 8 years ago, 16 years ago, and here I am. I'm playing it because I know it's a good move. It's a quiet a6 is quiet. It wasn't usually my thing, and there's all the a6 is the side pawn up one square is to prevent bishop b5 and or knight b5. It does both. It just constricts white a surprisingly large amount. I played a6 here, and I'm not saying I'm the most brilliant, hottie-dottie doo-dah of the a6 chessboard. I will wear them as sneakers because they're great for walking, they're great for running, and depending on the situation, they're not bad for social events either. But and here, it's just a good move. It's a good move. It's not crazy. I'm not trying to, sell away the farm and expect 3 queens and 3 bishops in return. So bishop to d6. Yeah, and that was also part of it. I was thinking of bishop to d6 before here. I was thinking of bishop to d6 as an option, and part of the reason for a6 was to cut out knight b5, which, aside from being just a generally well-placed and aggressive knight, is also attacking my bishop at d6 as long as without a6 being played first. So played a6 first. I'm really glad about it, and I think we can see in a few moves. Now I'm closing down the queen side because I have intentions on the king side. In a few moves, knight a2 is maybe too slow, but where else is that knight foe gonna go? And black rolls to c7. My opponent is showing me his knight destination, sort of heaven, on d3. And I said, well, excuse me, but I have to capture your friend. And white thinks that maybe bishop takes f3 would close that opportunity on the king side, the end. But no, because of this battery, the bishop slides, capturing on h2, delivering to the king non-flattery. Instead, an attack, and when the king moves, the bishop comes back. Alright, so I've gone up a pawn, and I'm going to play aggressively. A lot of my moves here are going to be aggressive. Instead of moving the queen out of the way, we're going to just slide the rook at a to c8. I can't let this knight just sit here unopposed. I found the bishop the better piece to trade off, because my knight on e4 is fantastic where he is. I know that my opponent could trade light squared bishop for that knight while doubling my pawns. Let's worry about that if and when we come to it. D takes c5, knight e5. Losing about a pawn in evaluation by moving knight e5, about 9/10 of a pawn I lose there. Mostly the intentions are either capture on f3 or close, sort of make a weird closure of the c file. If it's already closed, then that's fine, but with a knight at c4, that knight's powerful, and two knights are bearing down on d2, so that's a threat. Knight takes a3 is a threat. Black has a lot of aggressive options available. His king on h1 is not at risk, but you can still imagine after knight c4 that there's a 1 and then 2 move thing. Right now it won't work because of the bishop and the queen raining down, but we're not entirely convinced that this semi-open file is all that safe. Trading minor pieces, and the queen gets a good look at f4, e4, sorry, a good look at e4. So my knight's gonna launch himself toward white's back rank. And here comes the rook, who wants to give the bishop a spank, so he'll move, and maybe an exchange sacrifice will prove the best way to go forward. Black says, okay, queen, toward the e7 square, and stop there. Here comes an en passant dare. And like I don't usually do, I look the other way and say, hey king, check to you. So we have some more preparing moves from black. E6 takes f5 is good. G6 was one of these moves. I could have, with black to move here, I might have sat here all day. This move, look at, Torch has, these 5 moves are all within a pawn of each other, all excellent for black. But the key was to do anything but sit here and think for a whole day. I don't have that kind of time. So I played G6. And I thought maybe something will sort of jostle loose. It's not a bad move. It provides a clear threat. And my king moves to G7 in some futures where there might be a back rank checkmate involved or searched or all these things. Then the rook goes back to f1. And black's just going to move the knight over closer towards a menacing position on the king's side. One way or another trying to muster an attack. Bishop c3. And knight g4 is another strong move. It's of this sort that I might or might not have ever been able to find 6 to 26 years ago. Mostly in this case because I would see this, that there's a checkmate threat in 1, right? But I wouldn't quite weigh in or see this or know how to calculate how the knight on g4 adds to the fight over the f2 square. White's move here is logical to move the rook away so that the king will not be checkmated with my move queen h2. Maybe sacrifice that rook on g4 to get rid of the attacking piece, or might not have to, depending on where my queen is. So there's some kind of inaccuracy. This is a mistake by way of torch, but look, mate in 14 is difficult to calculate, my friends. So, yeah. I played queen to h2 check, and that's the best move. Now here I faced decision how to close down on this, and rook to d1 is fine. Rook to d1 is fine. I mean, we're in what does this say? A mate in 11, so it's a forced mate. Can't be sniffled at. And then queen takes c1, but I did notice the eventual knight takes e3 check, and black's going to win white's queen. Capturing on f4 here was sort of like made it certain, even if it were not, even if I had not so much time on my clock. And just to be a little bit of a stickler against myself here, really the move here is going to be rook to d8. That would be the best move. And then the bishop, this is very clear, right? I played queen to f1. I was not doing that in any way kind of disrespect at all. Just that that's what occurred to me. So, one of my best games. I loved it. Fantastic. And yeah. Not right now. Right. Gracias, mi amigos. Je suis more gravity. Thank you, Gravitrons. Ciao.